Greetings to you all. That's how I usually start my letters. If there is any letters to send, emails, that's how I usually start. Greetings. To whom it may concern. So I belong to the generation in Georgia here. Being born in Tbilisi, the capital city of Georgia, over 1 million population, a megapolis. For sure, a megapolis. If you look at Georgia, even when the city, is it city or town? City, yeah, capital city, over 1 million population. It's a huge city for Georgia. And yeah, so I belong to the generation of kids. Yeah, there's like Generation Zeta, Generation Alpha. What do you call them? Baby boomers. Every generation has its name. I don't know what is my generation called. I would call it 90s, generation of 90s. Yeah. So I will start like the third time I'm starting. I belong to the generation of kids who started to learn English. Before that, it was, Russian was always there. Russian was always there, but as a foreign language, I know my mom. She used to study German in school, and also before that, I think French was the language. So French, generation of French language as a foreign, generation of German speaking, and here I am basically typical representative of generation of English speaking. So somewhere from, I don't know, from, if I'm not mistaken, from 4th or 6th, 5th grade, we started to, or maybe from 3rd grade, no, not 3rd. Yeah, somewhere early on, we started having English language class in school. Yeah. And that's, I'm saying, now I'm talking about 80s. I'm talking about 80s, man. That's how back in time I can go. So we had this teacher that was Natalia Petrovna. I used to go to the Russian, it was Georgian school, but the Russian class. And she was, we would call her Anglichanka, Englishman, English woman. And she was strict. She was strict, and she was very neat. Like mania. She had kind of mania of neatness and cleanness around her. like chalk, hands. I mean, everything was clean, had to be clean. And we were kids, we were dirty. I mean, apparently you're dirty when you're a kid most of the time. Normal kids. She had no family, no kids, and we were her kids, unfortunately. So, so she was trying to push English language into our stubborn brains for, I don't know, for 6 years, for 5 years. And I was in the middle of the pack, even a bit less. That's how lower in the middle of the pack of the class. It wasn't not a big class, 20, 23, 25 most, 18 then. So the grades were like 5 was the excellent, 4 good, 3 I'm translating now, acceptable, yeah, 2 not acceptable, and we were like maybe first or the second generation when they dismissed 1 as a point. They wouldn't give you 1, uno. They would start from 2, dvojka. That was the worst. I mean, you were called dvojshnik. I mean, the guy who studies and gets 2s. Then it was trojshnik, the guy who gets 3s. That was me. And there was отличник, who was straight 5s, getting straight 5s. I don't know, and we didn't call nothing. Nothing was, there was no name for the guys who were getting 4th. So for me, 4 was 5. I mean, if I would get 4 in any subject, no matter, I felt like I was отличник. I mean, it was celebration for me. And in English language, I got once in all those 6 years, I got ones that I remember, 4, and the whole class was very happy for me. I'm saying it's sincere truth. Man, you got 4. You got 4. She gave you 4. Congrats. They were so happy, man. So they were more happy than I was, because I was like in shock to tell my parents that I got Natalia Petrovna gave me 4. It was a celebration for the whole family for 1 week at least. So those 5 years, 6 years of studying English in school didn't make a lot of progress. I didn't make a lot of progress. I remember, when you remember some points, some pictures from your past more vividly, and the word London London. See, that's how you pronounce it. And but you write it was London, London. So we would pronounce it London. And I remember it was lesson. One of the first lessons that she said, "You imbeciles, imbecile. It is pronounced London, not London." She was British English teacher. Now I comprehend. At that time, I mean, no idea there was at least two kind of English. Natalia Petrovna would be so proud of me right now. Maybe she's, I don't think she's alive, because she was like in the 80s. She was 50, at least 50, yeah, at least 50. Now she's 90, near to 100. Maybe she's alive. I wouldn't be surprised. She's saying, "London, you imbecile, stupido idiota, London." But it's Italian now. She speaks English. "You stupid idiot." Yeah, now it's funny, but it was scary. And I even once, one more episode. I once draw her on the desk, on my desk. I used to draw, not bad at that time, faces, portraits, So I draw her portrait. I remember it with pencil on my desk, and it was so it was so good, that my classmates were all very happy. She didn't see it. She didn't see it. Good for me. But maybe she would have liked it. I don't know. So yeah, so that's how English came along. And then somewhere in the late 80s or 90s, here, at least here in Georgia, the principle for, how you call them, man? Teachers that you hire, on the side of the school. I mean, the private teachers in Chile, the private teachers, And my first private teacher, and there was new wave of teachers of English language, because English language was becoming the language to know for the kid. So the business of private teachers of English language started to boom, and those guys who graduated from, they would call it INIAS, Foreign Languages Institute, and then would like some profit on the side, they would pick up and teach kids, those English words, those indefinite, past indefinite, present indefinite, future indefinite, future continuous, future perfect, perfect continuous, and so on and so on. And my first teacher of English was the mama of my friend. They were living nearby in Saburtalo, and a couple of days per week I would go there to their house. First I would play with my friend, and then we would sit for an hour and a half, and yeah, rest in peace. She died, and I remember her very well. She also had a habit of putting cream on her hands very often. And where did she get the cream? Because everything was hard to get in those days, but she had it. And while we were studying, she would put the cream on her hands like a few times, and then when she was writing in the notebook, the paper from the notebook would get creamy, and I couldn't write because it was hard to write on the creamy notebook paper. So that was my troubles. And her hands, white hands, who never, I think, touched kitchen thing. I mean, she was like intellectual, you know what I'm saying? And in those days, English language was like basta così. And couple of years before we moved to another apartment, and then we moved to Vake. And Vake is downtown, baby, downtown of Tbilisi. I mean, like high society, intelligentsia, yeah, so-called Soviet intelligentsia, people with some financial and some influence, yeah. So in 86, maybe 88, I moved here. I was 12 years old. So somewhere from there, my parents changed a teacher for me. Yeah, I wouldn't go to Sabotalo. Now the teacher would come to my apartment, to our apartment. And she was the end. She was Zia, Lodzia Dove, the end of my friend, of my classmate, sister of his father. She would come to my apartment, like she would come a couple of days per week, and she would come couple of days. She come couple of days a week, and I come like 20 times per day. She was very beautiful. I mean, like gorgeous, with wavy hair, big bush of wavy hair, thin, and tall, and very good looking. Even my father would flirt, and I would get jealous. And we would. I had the desk where I would study. Yeah, I'm still behind this desk, sitting. And it's like a small desk, and she would be very close to me, and sometimes our knees would touch each other. And she might have liked me. Come on. I liked her. I had a crush. So I obviously I couldn't concentrate on the damn subject. So basically that went on for a couple of years. Then those golden 90s came along, where not English, but people were searching for food, trying to feed themselves. And so in 93, September 93, I arrived in USA as an exchange student with the knowledge that I have of English. And before that, when the curtain opened, my mom took me to Bulgaria. We went to Bulgaria, we went to Hungary, we went to where else? Czechia, and she would ask me to ask someone in English, where this or where that, and I was struggling, and she would, and that so many years I'm paying for those lessons, and you didn't learn nothing. I mean, you cannot make one sentence. What can you say? I didn't reply. But I wouldn't say nothing. Mute. And here comes this opportunity to get out to the United States from those crazy years, and get into the States for the English language course. And that's how I find myself in United States. And that's another story, what went on. So, but the fundament, the basics of my English, of this excellent English that I have from Natalia Petrovna, rest in peace, your soul. She was a beast, a father. One more. I mean, most of us didn't comprehend nothing like me. I mean, we were in the same sync. And there was one guy who started to learn to study English on the side very early. I mean, the private teacher. And he had decent knowledge. He was отличник, 5s, and the favorite of Natalia Petrovna. And and once he told us in the secret way, as a secret, that you know what's written on the dollar bill? And he had this dollar bill. That was crazy. So, in God we trust. I didn't understand shit. And he translated for us. What does it mean? In God we trust. And it was like a cultural shock. Because on our money, we had written totally different, there was written totally different things. No mentioning of God. Oh my God. So that was like a boom in my brain. What else? Nothing else, man. E basta così. Finita la commedia. No, that's part 1, and to be continued, to be continued, because I know it's gonna go viral, gonna like kill it. I'm killing it, man. Ciao.